Why is it I'm able to watch an anime or story in general without this need to claim a character or force an identity onto them that's heavily politicized in the real world compared to the story I'm enjoying in the moment? That I can relish in a story without self-inserting myself into it or obsess that a character belongs to a specific demographic group exclusively, even when they clearly don't, but as if that would qualify the character in itself. One huge example of this is RANMA1. But before I move on to him, I'll speak briefly on Link from Zelda. I remember when Breath of the Wild came out, and out of nowhere, there was this wave of people of trying to claim him as being queer or secretly gay. With this article saying, Link is a gay icon and Zelda fans know it. The Legend of Zelda's queer themes are more than just subtext. Now this made me laugh just by the assertion alone, the way they speak in the absolute as if their word is law. Like this is just known amongst people who played Zelda. It's one of those tactics where if you repeat a lie long enough, people will eventually just accept it as fact. Now one of the examples they cite is when Link has to cross-dress for a specific mission to get into Gerudo Town, a place that only accepts women, no men. Now everyone that's played this game knows this is just a gag. It's comedy. Common sense Zelda players understand this doesn't make Link gay or queer. It's hard to believe that people are this humorless to understand that this is comic relief for the game. Like when Bugs Bunny cross-dresses to fool Elmer Fudd, he's not expressing his true inner self. He's just trying to get out of not being blasted away on Wabbit season, and that's what makes it so entertaining. There's comedy in putting on that stunt. Link is doing this out of necessity to save the world, and for no other reason. Another silly example they try to put forth is that him and Prince Sidon have flirtatious banter, saying it's clear that there's an emotional connection between these two men as well. Why is it when two guy or two girl characters who are really cool with each other, they have to assert they're actually secretly gay for each other? You see this a lot with Deku and Bakuga, and that's why I said earlier, this is an obsession. Like they need this to be true, and if it isn't, the story just falls apart for them and is considered bad somehow. They even said when Link rides on Sidon's back, it's some form of physical intimacy, and it's just comical to see how far they'll reach to read into this. Spoiler alert, Prince Sidon actually gets married to a female in Tears of the Kingdom, so yeah. Now I was about to do a whole lot of research to disprove Link is gay or queer, and then I thought all that's required is common sense to understand this isn't true, and I trust most people will understand this as well. I mean, just look at the way Link comes to Zelda's aid. Classic hero stance, like I got this, you could just sit back, and she just stares at him in awe. Classic hero story.
That's a smell of desire, my lady.
And we all know Link ain't passing that up.
I'm very aroused.
Another character they tried this with is Liron from Gurren Lagann, saying he is non-binary, and their claim of fact is that he describes himself as neither man nor woman, but failed to give context in how he did so. He was clearly flirting and teasing Simon and Kamino when doing so, like I'm a whatever you need me to be type manner.
A bit of both, like how I'm kind of man and woman. Yeah, but you can call me Ron. Or you could call me Beautiful Queen if you like.
But still responds to he, him, or his.
But Ron here knows just about everything. And he's also the guy who takes care of our weapons maintenance. Are you sure that's okay?
Ron begged us to let him go.
But he...
I can't let this pass me by.
And doesn't get offended like it's World War III when addressed that way. Hell, he even refers to himself as a man.
I was a hereditary guard of the Littner Armory. I was a man who could barely read or write his name.
It's funny how they'll use this thing called media literacy to try to force these identities onto characters, but still fail miserably to read between the lines, always missing the obvious and overcomplicating things at the same time. And for those that don't know, media literacy is an expanded conceptualization of literacy that includes an ability to access and analyze media messages as well as create, reflect, and take action using the power of information and communication to make a difference in the world. Basically, something is what I say it is, and if you disagree, I'll call you names.
Why didn't you say that in the first place?
So using this form of interpretation, they'll try to say an anime like Wolf Children, let's say, is secretly a story that the author intended for furries, or Princess Mononoke even.
I am a 27-year-old transgender woman. I am a wolf therian and a member of the furry fandom.
When and how did you discover this inner wolfness?
Probably around age 10 or 11. I was watching an anime about wolves, and see the wolf running across the screen and I'm somehow just intrinsically like, oh, that's me.
Now, I want to get into this article of RANMA1, where you don't have to be a fortune teller to see how this character would be an easy target for someone to hijack and force an identity onto. Now, if you don't know, Rama is a guy who was inflicted with a curse that when he gets splashed with cold water, he turns into a girl, something he despises with all his might and far from being proud of. Or if you refer to him at all as a girl, it's like calling Marty McFly chicken, something that easily offends him and he'll try to fight you for it.
What's wrong, McFly? Chicken?
What did you call me, Griff?
Don't you start talking like a girl. Who you calling a girl? I'm a guy!
Which is why I'm puzzled that this identity they try to force onto him, where he's clearly ashamed of this curse.
It's not easy having this curse for a body, you know.
It's like trying to fit a square object into an oval-shaped gap. It's so unfitting. Rama is someone who is proud in his masculinity and being a man, that if he had the choice, his cursed girl side he would easily do away with.
I'm going back to China. I have to find a way to change back for good.
I would think T people would find that offensive to have Rama be the spokesperson and choose not to uplift other characters who are clearly proud of being a T when they actually are, but I don't know. Now, this article references one episode that won't be part of the remake because it's considered filler and not part of the manga, and they're upset it won't be remade. And it's actually one of my favorite episodes, Ranma's Declaration of Womanhood.
Am I pretty? Ranma's Declaration of Womanhood.
And it's damn funny. Oh, quick side note, how I discovered Ranma was that my dad bought me a Pokemon VHS tape for Christmas one year, and one of the previews on the tape was for RANMA1. So me and my brother rented the movie from Blockbuster, the one where the guy had all the concubines in waiting. Shout out to Uki on Shampoo. Love it. Let me know if anyone else can relate to that. Did y'all come across Ranma the same way? Now, in this episode, Rama gets knocked upside the head due to Akane, of course, and gets amnesia. In the whole episode, he forgets he's a guy and thinks he's a girl throughout. Now, what's so funny is that he goes from extremely masculine to now extremely feminine. Because before this, even when turning into a girl, he always maintained his masculine personality.
Shut up and fight me! Sure, it was an accident, right? Are you feeling okay?
Which shows he's not in his right mind. Now, the article says, what the episode does well is give the audience a chance to fully embrace Rama as a gender non-conforming character. And this is what I mean by forced identities onto characters. Rama is not gender non-conforming. He's always maintained his masculine personality when in his right mind, regardless if his normal or cursed side was present. And in his injured amnesia state, he maintains a feminine side as well. His personalities don't switch back and forth. Now, there are times where he'll try to leverage his girl side to try to get free ice cream or whatever.
Huh? You have another parfait. On me, of course.
Wow, you mean that is as in for free?
But it's clearly an act. And even still, he gets disgusted and makes his skin crawl when he attempts to act as a girl to receive benefits.
Lesson? You mean you're gonna be teaching it or what?
You know it, lover boy. Ranma? Oh.
Which shows he's not gender non-conforming nor confused. He's a guy and he knows it. Continuing, while he certainly prefers being a boy at the start of the series and throughout, he eventually alternates between the two forms in the manga, growing more comfortable in being either form. As I said, he leverages his cursed girl side. Like in a fight, it helps him move quicker, but he loses strength.
Sure, my power may go down when I'm a girl, but have you forgotten how fast I get?
This episode gives audiences a nice little bridge between these two versions of the character, allowing Rama to see the benefits of womanhood. Rama doesn't see the benefits because Rama isn't conscious in the way they're making him out to be. Imagine it's like sleepwalking. You don't know you visited the fridge in the middle of the night until you wake up in the morning with a sandwich on your lap, confused. Which he does at the end of the episode when he gets hit again. He's confused like he just woke up from a possession or exorcist. Unaware of what's going on. It's sort of like Launch in Dragon Ball, how you have these two completely different personalities and neither one is conscious of the other. That's what happens to Rama in this episode, basically. Hell, there's so many movies where this type of storyline takes place or plot, where a character gets into an accident, hurts their head, wakes up from a coma, and has no sense of their former self, and they sort of have to reintroduce themselves into society. This isn't a unique concept. On top of being a generally good episode, and it is, RANMA's declaration of womanhood also played a major social role for a new generation of trans individuals, given how the gender-bending plot of RANMA 1/2 has made the original anime iconic for the trans community. This episode in particular helped create that aha moment known as an acre. I won't explain what that means. The way it explores the feeling of gender dysphoria versus euphoria when it shows the horrifying reaction RANMA gives when he sees his male form after losing his man. That was funny. As well as the joy he experiences while going shopping with Akane, yo. It's a brilliant visualization. Not only brilliant, but funny as hell. But they make it seem like it was a shedding tear moment in an Oscar-nominated movie when it was clearly designed to be comedic and have you laugh your heart out. I remember that scene, boy, and I still die to this day watching it. When he walks through the mall in the women's section all gleeful, picking up a pair of panties like, oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Look what I found. What do you think? Do you think it'll look cute on me?
No.
Not in a this turns me on, but how can I try these on? And the women shoppers looking at him like he's a pervert. I'm sorry. That's too funny. The thing what makes this scene so funny is that it's RANMA doing this. Like him of all people, this guy who claims his masculinity at every turn in the scene he can. Now, if this was like Felix from ReZero, it wouldn't be so funny because he exhibits feminine characteristics and you kind of expect it. With RANMA, you could never imagine him being like this. Like imagine Mike Tyson doing the same thing. Like that would be hilarious. All of a sudden you have this masculine fighter. I'm the best ever looking through the women's section and Akane's reaction is priceless. Like that's what makes all of this so funny. Like he's
Oh, wow. Do you think it'll look cute on me?
Now, what do I care how a person perceives a story? I don't care, no matter how much the evidence points in the opposite direction. My problem is when people try to hijack stories and characters, and I said this plenty of times, framing them in a way that retcons and bastardizes them like there's a forced conversation to take place whenever these characters now come up, or if their stories continue in the future. That's how you get an MHA fringe fandom that annoys the bigger fandom at large and hijacks the conversation around the anime, then harass the author when their headcanon isn't fulfilled. That's what happens when false narratives are allowed to persist without being checked or at least countered. For instance, the same writer says, when it comes to media that's a notable stepping stone for members of the trans community because of its insightful trans themes, RANMA 1/2 stands out as an inspiration. This is an attempt at hijacking a story. There is no trans themes that RANMA displays. This is a completely false interpretation. Yes, interpretations can be false. One of the more profound discussions in recent years has been whether RANMA is trans themselves. And see, wording is important. It's not themselves, it's himself. There's actually interesting evidence in this series to prove this case. One point from a post on Tumblr is that RANMA is introduced as a girl to the family they'll be staying with in the first volume. They don't try to sneak around the back to change. They don't have a secret hot water pack to pour on them when they get inside. I mean, they're going to find out eventually. They just casually stay as a girl until they shower later at night. It shows a sign of comfort for RANMA, which becomes a consistent motif throughout the series. RANMA's comfortability as a girl in multiple situations that don't require them to become a girl is a clue. See how to say them, it's really him. This is an attempt at hijacking. It's very subtle, but you gotta catch it. This is how a false narrative will persist. So that this is more than a curse to him. This could be a gift in disguise for him to finally be who they are, who he is. Now, allow me to dispel this with one scene.
Were you not prepared to lay down your life for the sake of the art?
My life, yes! My manhood is another story!
It shows he rather would have died. He despises and hates his girl side with a passion. I don't think that's shown with comfortability. And this takes place in the same episode that they're referring to. And this is what I mean by forced identities. He makes it clear he's a man every second he can, it seems. I'll leave off with dispelling this last quote as well. Still, for a show that came out in the late 80s and early 90s, it's remarkable to see this episode be made at all. It's incredibly progressive for its time. Well, it's not progressive, at least in the way they're framing it. It's just comedy about a man who is cursed that when splashed with cold water, he turns into a girl, and it's that simple, and he hates it with a passion. That's like saying Miss Doubtfire is progressive because it's a trans story. No, it's not. It's about a father who is so desperate to be with his kids, but can't because of court orders, that he's willing to dress up as an old lady to act as their nanny to do so. It's comedy. It's not like Dallas Buyers Club, where that's clearly a trans story and damn good movie. Or like saying Some Like It Hot with Tony Curtis and that other actor, and my girl Marilyn Monroe. Where the two guys dress up as women to escape the mafia and join in an all-girls band in doing so. It's not a trans story, it's a comedy. And RANMA 1/2 is a comedy. And probably the first harem anime too, but that's for another video. But that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Now, this video might get flagged or suppressed, so I'd appreciate all the engagement to outdo any of that. I'm saying people, not to be offensive, but because YouTube is unpredictable when it comes to protected classes, so I'm just trying to be careful and cautious. And excuse my voice, I'm a little under the weather. That's why it's a little bit of raspy, but yeah. If you haven't already, check out my music on Spotify, link in the description. If you love those Samurai Champloo lo-fi mellow boom bap vibes, then my music is definitely for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Free think, peace.